Welcome to your full body mobility flow. So for this one, we're really going to open up those hips, but we're also going to get the spine moving nice and fluid. So what does it mean to really have spinal articulation is really being able to articulate one vertebrae at a time. Now, we go into this much more in the spinal mobility flow, but this one we're going to really touch on. So how can we start to warm up that spine? How can we start to open up so that we're not just bending from one segment? What happens a lot of times is that we end up only moving from one segment rather than using and utilizing our entire spine. So we're going to start to play into how that can be. And then of course, we'll get into the shoulders as well and just kind of open up the entire body. So this first one, we're just going to start with a roll down. Now, we're not doing a hamstring or a forward fold, so I want you to unlock the knees just a little bit. We're going to focus on the back. So kind of shake things out a little bit. Now I want to see, can I take my chin and tuck it in so that I feel just my neck kind of flexing here. So my shoulders are still relaxed. And then I'm going to try to tuck one vertebrae at a time without rounding my shoulders, but keeping them relaxed. Hands will always be down toward the floor. One vertebrae at a time, almost like you're peeling down the wool. So one vertebrae at a time, all the way until you feel it right into that low back area, right into the low back. And then that tailbone will shoot down and you roll up one vertebrae at a time. We're going to bring the arms all the way up when you get to standing, and then keeping those knees bent, keeping that hip almost tucked under. We're going to see, can you bring the elbows back and just lift from that sternum? So not lifting and moving from the low back. Keep that tailbone tucked, sternum lifts only. And then coming right back down. So again, chin tucked. One vertebrae. So we move slow because the slower that you go, the more intention that you put into what you're doing. It's not about what it looks like. It's not about the end result. It's about what you're feeling. This is the entire point. Like, we're not going to increase mobility if we're just focused on, do I look like her? Do I look like him? It's really just assessing your entire body, yourself. So rolling up. Lift those arms again, keep that tailbone kind of tucked under, knees bent, and then just sternum up to the sky. So it's not going to be a huge movement, but you want to feel those shoulder blades pull down and together, and that's where you're opening, okay? And then last one, chin tucked, rolling, 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 one vertebrae at a time. Try to really open into that low back. Feel those abs kind of pulling you down, the neck pulling you down. And then coming up, lift, tucking under, and sternum rises. Ooh, you might even notice you get a little crack or pop right into that mid back. That means that you're really hitting that right section. Okay. Then we're going to kind of address those hamstrings, kind of opening up the hamstrings at the same time. We're going to open up the upper body. So we're going to allow these hips now, instead of tucking under, we're going to tuck them forward. So we're going to dive these hip bones into the thighs, keeping the knees relaxed. And then when I come down, I want to lift and draw my thumbs up to the ceiling as much as possible, and then coming right back. Okay. So the shoulders, you want to keep relaxed. So they're not forcing up. They're not forcing down. They're just relaxed as the hips shoot back, hip bone into the thigh, hip bone into the thigh. Feel that stretch in the hamstring, and then lift, lift, lift. Try to hold straight arms and then coming back. Okay, we think mobility as just stretching, but it really is that active component and gaining awareness of where the joints are in space. And in order to do that, we have to bring some tension into those joints. Okay, so hips back and reach. Okay, then we'll go on to our hip flexor stretch. So this one foot in front, one foot in back. We're going to take that hip bone. Now we're going to tuck it the opposite way. So before we went out and open when we wanted the back. Now we want to go under when we want the front. Okay, so it's not a big lunge. We're tucking under, up onto that back toe. We get a bonus back toe stretch, reaching up as high as you can, and then reach over that front leg just a little bit, breathing, opening, pressing, and then coming up. Step back, tuck under as much as you can, reaching, opening, breathing. You want the breath to be directed into this belly area, into this hip, and then come back. Okay, and we just switch back and forth. about 3 to 5 times, really opening. So the longer that you reach, the more you tuck under, and then you reach over, the more you're going to get into that stretch. Okay. Too often people want to really lunge and open to try to feel a stretch, but all that does is open into that low back. We want to reach up and over. And the more that you do it, you start to feel that whole stretch a little bit deeper into that side. Okay. So you can repeat that whole thing about 2 to 3 more times. Do it at your own pace. Maybe you go a little bit faster as long as you're feeling that connection back into the body, but slow it down in order to connect back to the body and actually feel the movement and the purposeful connection that we want to be moving forward with. Don't forget, if you love what you're learning, I have so much more in stock for you. So hit that subscribe button, check out the other videos I've done in the past, and leave any comments of any suggestions that you have for videos in the future. And I can't wait to help you feel incredible and amazing within your body.